I think, he couldn't land the shots that he wanted to land on me, and that was frustrating him. You know, if you watch the fight, he only landed a few telling shots, like a couple of straight rights. You know, like a straight right to the body, but everything else was like blocked or parried or he missed. When I say Mean Machine hit harder than him, I could say that Mean Machine caught me with more cleaner punches that, I felt more than Canelo. And we fight with 8 ounces instead of 10 ounces as well.
Right, of course, that makes a difference.
But
Now, let that sink in for the people that don't understand. They're fighting at a higher weight class, which means that you wear different ounces in gloves. So instead of 8 ounce gloves, they're wearing 6 ounce gloves. Okay? So now that we have that narrative put into place, I want you guys to hit the like button because there's a lot of things that needed to be cleared up that Bud Crawford had to clear up, including the fact that he felt the judges was trying to screw him on the scorecards. Now,
Championship rounds, they just kept yelling at me, you got to close the show, you got to win the championship rounds, because they're not going to give it to you. You got to win the championship rounds, because it was one round where, I dominated in the scorecards. They gave it to Canelo, and that just changed the whole mentality of the fight. They was just like, all right, you got to go out there and win these rounds. You got to go out there and win these rounds.
okay,
now, let that be known. What he just said. I dominated this whole round, and they gave it to Canelo at the end of the day, the judges. So right then and there, Bud said boxing. Boxing is fine. It's just the problem is you don't get to see the fights that you want to see because of different companies and people not wanting to put all of their people in the same room. And the reason that they don't want to put everybody in the same room because they don't get the money the producers do. There's plenty of people who don't understand the spoken truth behind what happened as far as why did he win the fight? Why was that? Yes. Why did he win the bout? Why was that such a interesting fight? How did it come to be that this person can just walk in and win this fight against Canelo-Alvarez? It was clear. Canelo problem is he did not jab. You can't beat someone like Terrence Crawford and don't jab. Canelo made it seem as if he was going to do something different. Canelo fought the same way. He thought attrition, body shots, was going to wear Terrence Crawford down. He settled for a lot of headshots when he should have been aiming jabs towards Bud Crawford's shoulders. And what I mean by wear and tear, Canelo got a lot of wear and tear through all these fights. Where Bud Crawford was hitting him with combinations, whether it was going to hurt him or not, he was able to break down Canelo Alvarez. And because of that, He could not cut off the ring properly. He didn't assert himself as far as changing directions. You see what Bud was able to do? Turn him, step down, stay toe to toe with him when he felt he needed to. Canelo's throwing one punch in those combinations. Yeah. See? Canelo has a I want to strike back mentality. But you're letting Crawford control distance. See? Keeping you at distance. Canelo's legs are not the same, cutting all that weight. Look, he can't even respond back. He can't even counter. No. Pacquiao fought Crawford. Crawford was stopped him. Pacquiao ducked that fight. He ducked that fight with Terrence Crawford. He avoided Terrence Crawford to fight an unknown man from Australia. And then the Australian got the victory over Manny Pacquiao because Pacquiao wouldn't agree to do the fight. No, Pacquiao wouldn't agree to getting in the ring and fighting Terrence Crawford because Freddie know what I know. That's a bad idea. So knowing that's a bad idea, the bout was never brought into a thing where Bob Arum wanted to make the fight. Pacquiao didn't. So if Pacquiao wins against the guy from Australia, there's going to be no fight. So once he wins, Bud Crawford goes up to welterweight, where he's supposed to fight Manny Pacquiao. Now he fights this guy from Australia who was undefeated and beats him easily, stopping him. As you know, Crawford stopped everybody at welterweight. And they was like, yeah, his last two fights, man. Some fool. Yeah, he probably was on them roids. His last two fights, they didn't cut him down and crack down on him. No. He's fighting at 54 and 68. Okay? Different ounces in gloves, different size. Okay? Different size. At 54, he probably stopped some guys. He probably stopped people at 68. But he's not a 168-pound fighter. That's probably his walk-around weight. Now, he's not going to cut and go all the way back down to 54. All right. The volume should be working now. Well, many people can say what they want to say, but they hit different angles. Things hit differently than when other people say them than another fighter. But if you want to look at what's out there for Terrence Crawford, in that position, it's slim pickings. He can go down to 160 at middleweight and fight Jamal Charlo if he wants for the belt, for middleweight championship belt that Jamal Charlo has been holding on to. Charlo got some sort of a name. And that could be a good fight. But if they can do a Canelo rematch, that would be even better. I doubt Al Heyman puts Canelo.Alvarez in a fight with one of his top, you know, one of the top fighters in the world. You're going to put Jamal Charlo in that platform with the Sheik? Would love to see it. Boots Ennis is at 154 pounds. Unless he wants to move up to 168 or 160 to fight Terrence Crawford, I can't see that happening, and I just don't see that being a big enough attraction because Boots hasn't beaten anyone of any stature to make that, a fight. Charlos have a bigger name. Bud Crawford would beat both of the Charlos in the same night. They could tag each other in when the other one's tired and go in there and get their brains beat out. Arislandi Laura's about like 42 years old. I mean, putting him in there with Bud is like putting a steak on the grill. Bivol is too big for Terrence Crawford. Benavidez is too big for Terrence Crawford. Hell, he's too big for Canelo at 168. But that's the fight that people would want to see. And at this point, Canelo will not be the favorite in that fight. Canelo did not change what he does. The activity level of Benavidez, he walks around at like 180. Plus, he's got fast hands. And he stands in front of you, and he's there to be hit. But he's like a walking tower. No, I've always felt impartial to the situation. I wanted the best to fight the absolute best. But if it's going to be a weighted disadvantage, I would love to see Bivol fight David Benavidez. Or Brennemov, let him fight him. Canelo is the guy who has the least options in the whole picture because he's actively saying, I'm going to fight again. So if he's going to continue to fight, he made $100 million in this fight. So if he made $100 million in this fight, what's stopping him from to continue to make money down this road? For Canelo, he's running out of money fights. Oh, truthfully, he's running out of those money fights. Someone brought up a very interesting Chris Eubanks Jr. versus Terrence Crawford. That would be an interesting fight before Bud knocks him out. It'd be a very interesting fight because Chris Eubanks Jr. is going to fight, and he's going to look really good to about the 5th or 6th round. And then after the 5th and 6th round, we're going to see a guy trying to survive. You know, Canelo has an outstanding chin because Canelo has an outstanding neck. Here comes this guy. Mr. Officer of the Year. No, because when you do that, you're putting yourself at a disadvantage. And you never want to put yourself at a disadvantage. There's so many different options to take. Why you think that is the only one that fits for you? Yeah, it's so much at stake, you know. Virgil Ortiz. Yes, chump. Now he wants to go over there and harass somebody else. Virgil Ortiz. That would be a good fight. But y'all let me know who y'all think is the best fight for Canelo and Crawford right now. For Bud Crawford, for Canelo.Alvarez, who are the best fights? Canelo versus Shiraz at 168. I would like to see that fight. But again, total mismatch for Canelo Alvarez. I think Shiraz beats him. Bivol versus Bud, no. Now, I wouldn't mind seeing that, Mangus. Anthony Yarde versus Canelo? Now we talking. Stylistically, that's a good fight for Canelo. Canelo could knock out Yarde. That's a good fight for him. Yes, Jermall Charlo is the champion. Jermell Charlo isn't the champion. We haven't seen, I don't think we've seen Jamel since he lost to Canelo. And all of this sitting around and not fighting and inactivity, like Jamal has been the champion and managed to hold on to the belts without fighting anybody. How do you do that? How you hold on to the belts and you're not defending them? Hit the like button, good people. Like it up, like it up. That's all I'm saying. If you're not fighting somebody, how are you holding on to belts? Whoever's running things at Al Heyman's, man, I mean, they need to get on their job. For real. PBC cards, y'all looking a little flimsy. Now we got the Keith Thurman fight coming up. One time's gonna win that fight. Watch what I tell you. Floyd versus Bud Crawford. At what weight? At 168 pounds? No. Floyd is never fighting Bud Crawford. He's retired. He will only do exhibitions. Well, I can tell you what I know. Physically, he can't do it anymore. Yes, he's great, but physically to do. And when you can't do that, you are at a disadvantage. Like when he was in his prime peak condition, then yes. But when you start getting injuries and going through things of that nature, then you're done. David Benavidez versus Canelo is good for money, but stylistically, that thing's gonna be a problem. Yeah. So again, when you put yourself in a position where this is the only outcome, I see that Benavidez is going to definitely and continuously put pressure on Canelo. Activity is going to wear Canelo down. Canelo's going to throw one big shot, 2-punch combination, all power, feint. About 3-4 rounds, Canelo's going to burn himself out, and he won't have the energy to keep Benavidez off of him. Benavidez will keep throwing the punches. No power on him. It's just enough to keep him at bay. Do I want to bag? No. I hope those are fresh.
Yeah, no, we make them like probably 5 to 10 minutes until the order being there.
Okay.
Because we're supposed to put them on the rack as soon as we get it, which means
Okay.
it's not on. And
All
so we
right.
don't do that. Okay.
Thanks.
Thank you so
I was
much.
worried about that when I was ordering. I normally don't order popcorn. It's movie time. It's movie mode. Yeah, so again, this has been a great talk, great chat. We getting everybody's opinion, but you know what's even better? Everybody's talking about boxing. And that's what it's about. We're talking about actual real fights. Now, the problem I got is when people like Tank Davis, who keeps pretending that he's a real fighter, want to fight the easiest bouts, never fight the champions of the division, fight basically showcase fights, and make money doing that. Then to step up to be a real champion, but blame everybody for his situations. And he wonder why he's broke. Floyd tried to help him, everybody. But, nope. Only person he listened to was himself. That's why he in the predicament he is. I'm out.